Okay, well, until you walk a mile in someone else's shoes, don't lecture people.
It looks like she has tics. Charlie Kirk had tics. That's why the constant covering her mouth, and yeah, people have questioned it. Erica Kirk, widow of conservative Charlie Kirk, has faced intense online scrutiny over her public gestures and emotional displays, often labeled as tics. These include hand over mouth motions while crying, eye covering, and upward gazes during interviews. Yes, she does that a lot. Sparking conspiracy theories. No, people can say whatever they want. They're brother and sister. Go look at the video. Or if you're on TikTok, go look at this whole video. And at the beginning, you'll see how, like on his TV show when he was telling everyone they were engaged, she's like, I'm not going to be able to do this without laughing. I can't do this looking at you. That's like what a brother and sister would say. Mm-hmm. They didn't have kids. It was photos. But she's observed gestures such as hand over mouth motions, eye covering, and upward gazes during emotional interviews are similarities with motor tics in disorders like Tourette's or transient tic disorder, which involved repetitive involuntary movements like blinking, grimacing, or head jerking, which is what she's... And she would really be trying to hide it because Charlie Kirk did... because he was out in the public so much, he tried to always have like candy in his mouth, or he would constantly move, But you could see he'd do this, it was... So the thing is that with Tourette's, there's very few, it's like 80% hereditary, and it's rare. So most of the people that have it are related, is what I'm saying. This is why a few months ago I had said, especially since RFK Jr. was saying that he is soulmates with Charlie Kirk, yet only went on one of his podcasts. But his voice problem, that spasmodic dysphonia that he has, that is on the spectrum with the tic disorder, Tourette's. Tourette's is not common. It's common hereditary-wise. Is there evidence? No. Will there ever be? No. The deep state does everything they can to cover this up. But this is why she looks so strange, and she's trying to hide it. So when she does these weird things with her eyes, it's because she's trying, not to. They're siblings. Medical tic disorders feature sudden, brief muscle contractions, often triggered or worsened by stress, anxiety, or fatigue. Oh, well, I'm sure that she has a lot of stress with all this going on. That's why I don't understand why she's running around promoting all this. But, clearly maybe somebody's making her do it. Conditions matching Kirk's high-profile grief following her husband Charlie's assassination, eye darting, shoulder shrugging, differ from complex ones. But she's that's why everybody, it's the blinking, grimacing, jerking. Yeah, so it's just people aren't used to seeing this much of her all the time, because usually you don't see her except occasionally when Charlie Kirk was alive. Anybody who did any, even just, you didn't have to watch Charlie Kirk for very long. He would tic all the time. When he was talking, he could hide it well. That's why he talked and talked, because he could hide it well. But when he was having to listen to somebody, he was always chewing on candy, moving around so that people wouldn't notice it. And he'd be like, I'm not making fun of him. I'm trying to say that nobody confirmed it, but anybody, even when he was alive, people were saying he has some sort of tic disorder. He never said anything about it, but not that he had to. But given that she's doing it too, and there's all these different weird expressions with her, you know, in her eyes, and it's like she's trying to keep herself from ticking for any facial tics, because that would absolutely give her away. I mean, first of all, what would be the odds that two people met and they're not related and they both have tics? No, they'd be related, because that disorder is 80% hereditary. So, because I looked into it like 3 months ago, right after when RFK Jr. was running around saying, "Oh, he was my soulmate," and he had only appeared on one podcast with Charlie Kirk. That's it, and they became soulmates. Yeah, I wasn't buying that. So I had looked into that and then started thinking about, well, RFK Jr. has that spasmodic dysphonia, and that's really rare. But see, you know, from this whole line is like JFK. JFK was so ill all the time, even up until his shooting. He was, I mean, even as a child, in and out of the hospital. I mean, he had constant yeast infections. He had hypothyroidism. He had all of these different neuro and then muscle disorders. Everything. A lot of the Kennedys did. It's almost like some of it, especially the men, but like RFK Sr. didn't. But it seems like it jumps up. I don't think RFK Sr. had any of that, but JFK did. He was always sickly, always. From the time he was a child on up, he had all these problems with his back. And the reason when he was shot, he goes like this and then back like he's a stick. It's because he's wearing a back brace whenever he would travel in that car, the convertible. He would wear the back brace. You just weren't told about any of this. He was somebody in constant pain. He was on a ton of painkillers because of it, but he just was sick his entire life, in and out of the hospitals as a child. So here's the thing, you know, that there's certain syndromes for Sephardic Jews. Nothing against Sephardic Jews, but there's a special syndrome with them that goes along with like the syndrome Kennedy had close relation to it syndrome. It was like syndrome 1 versus syndrome 2. Okay, but yet only seen in Sephardic Jews, if it's seen. And there were people because of that questioned, were the Kennedys Sephardic Jews? Did they have, you know, ancestry of Sephardic Jews, which would be those are Jewish, and not that there's anything wrong with the Sephardic Jews. They're, you know, they're just a difference. They're like from Portugal, Spain, that area, Latin America. So then that would explain even more how the Erica Matfield Kirk, this woman who in '66 married the governor of Florida, Claude Kirk, likely was, if it was possible, she was German descent, possibly in her genetic makeup, or her older daughter, Adriana Dobella. Dobella was from her first marriage. I did videos about this already. And nobody knows anything about what happened to, like the family will say Adriana went on to do, but they don't say where she went to high school, where she graduated, for nothing. It's like she came here with her mom. They know she had this older daughter, and then nothing else. You see her in some pictures occasionally. Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk were likely siblings.